Hello, thank you for watching this video. So today we want to talk about the Laws of Messiah, chapter 2, which is starts from page 47. Is about what the Messiah should say and do now, showing the way at the turning point of human history. And in the first section is about looking back on the 20th century, the age when the modern Messiah was born. Who is the modern day Messiah?
Masaru Hosokawa.
Yes. So here it's very, very interesting because let me read the sentence. He says on page 48, one way to put it is if the people in the year 1900 were asked the question, what will the 20th century be like? I don't think many people would be able to give an accurate prediction. So from here, Master Okawa will talk about the history and what can we learn from the history by giving many, many examples. But this part is so great because in the end, he gives us, which way we need to go and what are the key points, key factors. In detail, what are the things that we need to achieve in order to create peace and bring justice to the world.
I love this chapter because it really reveals the height of Master's enlightenment and how he can see the world from so many perspectives, not just from this earthly world, but from the highest part of the spiritual world. He can see how people felt, what they thought, and the flow of events, past, present, and future. So he's giving us this lecture to help the present time now. How can we understand the past? How can we understand if we continue to disregard the lessons from the past, the effects that will happen in the future, and how can we as humans act now in this time of crisis so that the truth and love and freedom can be firmly established for eternity. So to me, this chapter really brings out the real Messiah.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm on UFO time traveling from the past, looking at this point now on Earth, but also looking ourselves from the future standpoint. So
in this first part of the chapter, looking back on the 20th century, the age when the modern Messiah was born, Master Okawa first starts off by talking about how people looked from the year 1900. He mentions about World War I and World War II, the Russian Revolution and the Communist revolutions, and the formation and the collapse of the Soviet Union, Germany's defeat in the World War I and its remilitarization. And he really talks about the outcome of these events. Master mentions that no one in history ever has been able to foresee what would happen or explain these events, and no one expected that the United Nations would fail to function today. That's why he is giving this lecture. He gives the example of the current Russian state of affairs and how we can learn from those laws that's happening, and he's giving us food for thought to think about how we can internationally understand what real justice is.
So in the end, Master Okawa gives all these examples, and not only about the politics, but from the, even as Maxine said, a bigger perspective, including about how UFO started to show up in front of our eyes. But then in the end, he says, this shows that when a tragedy occurs, humankind will remember it for a while, but after a while, the memory of it can fade away. So I feel like he's teaching us or reminding us not to make the same mistake from the past.
He emphasizes that point really deeply with the examples of the atomic bombs that happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki,
Japan.
He mentions that this event is crucial to understand the flow of civilization's history from the perspective of 100 years in the future. With this example of Hiroshima and Nagasaki atomic bombings, world leaders were also very affected during that time. So this event can help us understand how we need to see history now, in the time of crisis.
If you would like to know about the reason why the modern Messiah was born, and about current world situation, please read this chapter 2. So yeah, thank you for watching today's video. I think this chapter 2 and section 1, this is very current. It's filled with current information, but also we can learn so much from the history, but in a really bigger perspective. So I hope you enjoy reading it, and please watch our following videos as well.